There's literal.
They snatched some kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you criticize it, you can get arrested. And that's where it gets insane. It's like, how are we not
you literally criticize
people?
it. I think it's the Prime Minister of Ireland actually, posted on X, because after the I think some illegal migrants snatched a 10-year-old girl who was like going to school or something, and violently raped a 10-year-old girl, and there was the people were very upset about this, and they protested. The Prime Minister of Ireland, instead of saying, yeah, we really shouldn't be importing violent rapists into our country, he criticized the protesters instead and didn't mention that the reason they were protesting was because a 10-year-old girl from a small town got raped.
So here's the question. Why are they supporting this kind of mass immigration? And is there a plan involved in all this? Is this incompetence? Is this ignoring the fact that they don't have a handle on it, so they're trying to silence dissent? Like, what is happening? Because if you want to destroy civilization, if you want to destroy Western civilization,
which George Soros seems to want to do, and there's just there's a guy I think who, I don't know if he's been on your show. Godsod?
Yeah.
Has he been on the show?
Good friend of mine.
Yeah, it's great.
He's been on multiple times.
Oh, great. He's awesome.
Yeah.
So, the way he's got a good way to describe it, which is suicidal empathy.
Yeah.
So, is that you prey upon people's empathy. So, like you feel sorry for something, for some group, and then and that empathy is to such a degree that it is suicidal to your country or culture, and that's suicidal empathy. Because I think we should have empathy, but that empathy should extend to the victims, not just the criminals. We should have empathy for the people that they prey upon. But that suicidal empathy is also responsible for why somebody arrested 47 times for violent offenses gets released and then goes and murders somebody in the U.S. That's you see that same phenomenon playing out everywhere, where the suicidal empathy is to such a degree that we're actually allowing our women to get raped and our children to get killed.
But it just doesn't seem like that would be anything that any rational society would go along with. That's what makes me so confused. It's like you're importing massive numbers of people that come from some really dark places of the world.
Well, there's no vetting. It's the issue. It's like if there's no vetting, like people are just coming through. Like, well, what's to stop someone who just committed murder in some other country from coming to the United States or coming to Britain and just continuing their career of rape and murder? Like, unless you've done some due diligence to say, like, well, who is this person? What's their track record? If you haven't confirmed that they have a track record of being, honest and not being a homicidal maniac, then any homicidal maniac can just come across the border. And that's not to say everyone who comes across the border is a homicidal maniac, but if you don't have a vetting process to confirm that you're not letting in people who will do some serious violence, you will get people who do serious violence sometimes coming through.
Well, especially if you don't punish them and if you don't deport them. And if you are just like, but what is the purpose of allowing all those people into the country? It can't be. I wouldn't imagine that anyone in their society supports this.
Well, let me explain. So because you mentioned, for example, how much, say, Hillary and Obama have changed their tune from prior speeches where they were hard-nosed about not letting in anyone who is a criminal into the country. Having secure borders, all that stuff. So why did they change their tune? The reason is that they discovered that those people vote for them. That's why they want the open borders.
Because if you let people in, they know the Democrats let them in, they'll vote for Democrats.
Yes.
If you allow them to vote.
Which they're actively trying to do. They turn a blind eye to illegal voting.
Well, California literally doesn't allow you to show your license.
California and New York have made it illegal to show your photo ID when voting. Thus, effectively, they've made it impossible to prove fraud. Impossible. They've essentially legalized fraudulent voting in California and New York and many other parts of the country.
There's no rational explanation that I've ever seen anyone give as to why that would be the policy. Unless you were trying to just allow people to vote illegally, because there's no other reason. If you need a driver's license or you need an ID for everything else,
yes,
including just recently to prove that you were vaccinated.
The same people who are demanding.
Yeah, Elon once again hit it right on the head. Yeah, the Democrats used to be for border control, really, and stopping illegal immigration, and you can look at those speeches that they're talking about, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, even Bill Clinton. They all said the same thing Trump is saying. But, just in a few years, that changes because there's so many illegal aliens that are being imported here because we're incentivizing the free programs that they will receive that only the Democrats are offering, which means they're going to, pretty much always vote Democrat, So people don't really look at it from that perspective. A lot of people want to say the border is incompetence, when in reality, this is a design. Elon's talked about this before. They literally will import illegal aliens because they know they're going to vote Democrat. And if you look at even like 2008, 2012, who did the Democrats have? They had the black vote, and they had a lot of the white vote and a lot of the Hispanic vote. All three of those demographics, groups of people, all three of those groups have been leaning towards the GOP at an alarming rate, according to them. And so they need a new voter base. If the white people, the black people, the Hispanic, they're voting more Republican, they need a new group of people. And they knew this a long time ago. They knew they were losing, with Obama, even though Obama did great with a lot of those groups. They knew that down the road, if they come into this country and they get free benefits, they know they'll vote Democrat. So if you just look at what Biden did, what was it, like 20 million plus illegals? That's 20 million people that they can vote for. And I know what you're saying, like, oh, illegals can't vote. That's true. It's illegal for illegals to vote. But they're doing it anyway. I lived in California. They do not check for ID. As long as you walk across the border, if you walked across the border into California on election day, they would let you vote. They weren't even going to ask you anything. So 20 million plus people, how many of them are voting? At least a few million, right? At least. I mean, a few million votes can literally swing an election. And that's just in 4 years. Trump did a pretty good job securing the border. He could have done more. Obviously, Obama could have done more too, even though they call him the deporter-in-chief. That's not really true. But this was all a grand strategy. And from the Democrats' perspective, with Trump on the rise, they needed a new base. Otherwise, they were going to lose the election. And they did anyway, which is funny. But, this is something we all know. This isn't even controversial to say that Democrats want illegal aliens so that they vote for them. A permanent underclass. And if you look at what a lot of illegal people say, they do majority vote Democrat, and they're very open about it. So that was the plan. That was always the plan. Elon Musk knows this. He even talked about it last time he was on Joe Rogan. So, again, I think the best thing about this is exposure. People are going to listen to Elon. People are going to listen to Joe Rogan. at least. And I don't know what the Democrats are going to do now, because if Trump's going to really secure the border like he's doing and deport people out, who's going to vote for Democrat? That's a real major concern for the Democratic Party. So we'll see what happens. The next major election's in a few years. Obviously, we have the midterms, but the next presidential election, the numbers could be swinging way differently. The GOP might gain an even bigger landslide than Trump did last time, just because of the amount of deportations that will be done in the next 3 years. And, nobody else coming in illegally. And I do believe Trump will issue paper ballots and have some sort of accurate polling situation where, it's accurate and you do need ID. It's not controversial. So we'll see what the Democrats do. When they get desperate, they do desperate things. So, because they're losing their base. Not just because they lost the election. They've been losing their base since 2020, since people really started to see that 2020 was pretty much a rigged election. And even if you didn't believe it, you at least looked into it, which means everyone's looking into it. So, and if you look at the numbers, a lot of states are leaning towards GOP. Not that that's great, it's just better than the Democrats. They're leaning more right. Even in California, there's a lot of counties leaning more right. So if you look at the trajectory, Democrats will never win an election again. So they have to do something desperate. And the problem for them is they don't have anyone that anyone likes on their side. Nobody likes Gavin Newsom. He's not going to win. Nobody likes Kamala, obviously. They have very limited options. And so this is great for the GOP. Not that GOP's the best thing ever, but the Democrats' plan of importing illegal aliens to vote for them and have a one majority super party seems to be falling apart thanks to Donald Trump's policies and the exposure. If nobody's saying this, nobody knows, especially people that don't live in states that have a lot of illegal immigrants. They might not know how bad it really is. So Democrats have a couple years to figure this out. Otherwise, I just don't see how they can win an election. Every demographic's leaning right, and the Democrats are literally losing voters. What are they going to do? So, thought that was interesting, and it's good to put all that in perspective.